Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. God blesses those people who grieve. They will find comfort. The Beatitudes continue. Jesus astounds us once more. Mourning is a universal experience. Although for some it may take some time before they experience mourning for the first time in their life, it's highly unlikely that any of us today have not experienced mourning in one way, shape, or form in our lives. And if you have gone through a period of mourning, if you are going through a period of mourning, and there's probably something to be said here about mourning, in that it may be that mourning never really ends for those who have experienced it. It just changes in how it is expressed, remembered, or lived with. If you are going through a period of mourning, then somebody speaking the words that Jesus speaks here will probably be considered heartless, lacking in compassion, loose with their words. How can you say to somebody that is mourning, "Don't worry, it'll be all right"? How can you effectively tell them that they will be fine? I certainly can't. When I have encountered people who have just lost their partner, their best friend, their lover, their mother or father, their daughter, most of the time I feel hopeless and useless and simply want to say to them that actually I do not have any answers. I do not know why that person has died at that time that they have, why God has taken them away at that particular moment. And again, that's not something that I usually shy away from saying or sharing with them, the sense that somehow death is God's fault. Somehow God is responsible for taking away their loved one. Too often, we might try and use other words and guide people into thinking that God isn't involved. But at the end of all our thoughts at such times, often we need to be reassured that God is involved, even though we may not like to admit it, and even though we may not want to face up to that fact. Jesus says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." That is exactly what people in mourning want. We want to be comforted. We want to be reassured. We want to know that everything's going to be all right. And Jesus speaks the words that we long to hear. Comfort for the pain, the hurt, the anguish that we are feeling. The terror we're living through is just what we want and need. We need the comfort. We want the comfort. And yet the human experience is often the opposite. We do not receive the comfort that we need. Not then, not the next day, not for many days, months, weeks, years, or even in some cases, maybe not ever. So why does Jesus speak like this? Is he trying to inflict more pain on us? Trying to make us feel worse? Mourning is not something that's reserved for the death of a person, though. Mourning is also an experience that can come to us in other situations, such as the breakup of our marriage, or the loss of a job, or the realization that a dream that we've held in our hearts is never actually going to come true, or encountering the pain of having somebody we love suffering in pain, in hospital or hospice. The psalmist expresses the feelings of a person in mourning, probably in another context when they cry out to God, "As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, my God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. Where can I go and meet with God? My tears have been my food day and night, while people say to me all day long, 'Where is your God?' Why, my soul, are you downcast? Why so disturbed within me? My soul is downcast within me. Deep calls to deep in the roar of your waterfalls. All your waves and breakers have swept over me. I say to God, my rock, why have you forgotten me? Why must I go about mourning, oppressed by the enemy? My bones suffer mortal agony as my foes taunt me, saying to me all day long, 'Where is your God?' Why, my soul, are you downcast? Why so disturbed within me?"